Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special episode of the Kayvman Show. And today we're going to be tackling back pain in general, but specifically back pain, just because I see so many people struggling with this. So if you or someone you know is experiencing crippling back pain, you might want to pay attention to this episode because I'm going to tell you something that you probably never heard before, or you might have heard it in passing and not paid much attention to, but I'm going to tell you it's an absolute game changer, and it's essentially a mindset shift that will essentially blow your mind. So yeah, I wanted to dedicate this special episode to back pain. I see a lot of people suffering from it, and it's actually something that gets in the way of their fitness a lot, particularly the back, but other types of pain as well. So I guess this is just injury in general, and not to faff about, but let's dig into it and speak specifically about what it is. What is the secret to getting over pain, living without pain? And something that you should really understand from the get-go is it's all in your mind. Okay, pain is all in your mind. And understanding and accepting that pain is all in your mind actually essentially gets rid of pain. Now, technically, all pain is in the mind because without a nervous system, you cannot register pain. So if you extend the mind, if you define the mind as basically the activity of the nervous system, the central nervous system being the brain and the rest of the nervous system, you have to, accept the fact that pain is all in the mind. So that's a starter. But okay, that's maybe a little bit redundant. And what's the point of that? What difference does that make? If I chop my leg off, I'm going to feel pain. It's not just in your mind. Well, again, it is in your mind, right? And that's why a lot of times someone will, let's say a hand is blown off in war, they actually don't feel any pain at all. The pain is there to give you a message. So once you realize your hand has been blown off and the shock of this situation has died down and you have the time and the bandwidth to assess the situation and make moves, then your nervous system will start giving you a pain signal to let you know that there's some serious damage that has been done. Right? Or if you break your leg or so on and so forth. A lot of times people will not feel it. A lot of times if somebody has been stabbed, for example, they do not feel the pain at all. I know unfortunately I have been stabbed and I didn't feel anything. So you only feel it after, right? When the adrenaline has worn down. So that just tells you that pain is essentially in your mind. Okay, so that's step one. Now, step two is if you are feeling chronic pain, the chances are, especially with regard to the back, but also the knees and the wrists and the necks and so on and so forth, there's a very strong chance that is made up in your brain, especially if you've been to a doctor and they say there's nothing really wrong with you. We can't really tell. If you've been testing and you tried this thing, you tried that thing, you tried everything and nothing seems to work. And a lot of times, even if a doctor is recommending surgery, but let's not get into that. What you'll find is that the pain is created by the brain. Now, what is the point of the pain? The pain being created by the brain. Okay, this is the part, pay attention now. This is the part that's going to blow your mind, okay? This is the part that's going to blow your mind. The reason that pain is created, particularly back pain, chronic back pain, is basically to distract yourself from your emotions. And the number one emotion that your body is trying to distract yourself from is rage. Okay? Rage. In order to not face our own rage that we are feeling, particularly nowadays, because rage and anger, very, very common in children, one of the base emotions, very uncommon in adults because it's completely unacceptable emotion nowadays. With good reason, it's very destructive. But the body will distract you from that rage. So essentially what it is suppressed or repressed, I don't really know the difference, suppressed or repressed rage. Okay, when the conscious mind is not able to deal with, face and accept its own rage that it is generating, because rage is something all emotions are something that you generate. You can't feel an emotion from someone else, right? That's not how it works. Nobody can give you an emotion. You generate it yourself based on the perceptions in the outside world. So as you generate that rage And I'm going to say irritability, anger, any type of kind of tension, right? As you generate those emotions, because it's unacceptable to you, you don't stop generating it. You just stop being aware of it and you suppress it. So you create the emotion, the negative emotion, and you can't deal with it, essentially. So as an adult, you kind of squash it down. And that energy, it's chemicals, it's neurochemicals, it's electricity. There are physical things being generated by emotion. Emotion is not just some type of phantom fantasy, right? It does have an existence. That emotional energy and the neurochemicals, etc., they have nowhere to go. That energy has nowhere to go. So what does it do? It gets suppressed out of the brain, into the body, back down into the nervous system, and it creates tension. And over time, it creates chronic tension. And those muscles, where it's, for most people, it's their back, but it could be in various other places, start to stiffen and stiffen and stiffen. And over time, as a pattern starts to emerge, those muscles lose the ability to allow full blood flow. And with a lack of full blood flow, means a lack of oxygen. And a lack of oxygen means pain, okay? So you register that as pain. And it can happen, oftentimes first thing in the morning when we're stiff and there's even less blood flow. And it can happen, it's a very tricky customer, okay? This is something called TMS, Tension Myositis Syndrome. It was discovered by a doctor called Dr. John Sarno, who's passed away in the past few years, from, I think, NYU. So this is a proper MD. This is not quackery here. And most doctors I speak to acknowledge this, by the way. They're like, yeah, we see people coming in with extreme back pain, sometimes crippling back pain. We have no fucking idea what's wrong with them. We can't see shit. We usually tell them it's all in your head and we give up. Because people don't want to hear that it's all in their head. They don't want to think they're crazy. They would rather have crippling back pain than think that they're crazy. And so, okay, I'll probably do a part 2 to this, but just so that I don't kind of wander into the stratosphere here, which I want to do. What do we do with this? Okay, number one is you have to accept this diagnosis, right? So maybe go check out your doctor. And if you've tried everything and you have nowhere else to go, just play with accepting this. Maybe I'm generating this in my head. Again, it's not all in my head. It starts in the head and then it becomes in the body. There is a genuinely these are tense muscle groups, particularly the back we're talking about, but could be other groups. And it's a lack of blood flow and it's a lack of oxygen. So there is something physically there. It's just generated starting by the mind and the nervous system, okay? It starts as an electrical misfiring, right? It's autonomic, by the way, meaning this is not conscious. It's from when the conscious mind buries that emotion, it goes all subconscious, all unconscious, okay? There's nothing you can really consciously do about it except for accept that it is rage. Accept that you are generating very strong emotions, as we all do. Everyone does. This is completely universal, by the way. It's not just you. I do it. Everyone does it. Everyone past the age of 6 or 7 generates these extremely strong emotions and then suppresses them. Okay, particularly when you have a lot of responsibility in your life. You will generate rage. You're pissed off about it. You just want to play games and eat cake and watch TV all day, but you can't. Okay? Or maybe there's someone in your life who you love and you can't get out of your life, but they're pissing you off. Maybe it's your boss. Maybe it's something you can't say, right? You're generating emotion. You don't know what to do with it. And so you just stuff it into your body, okay? This is not something you consciously do, and there's not something you can consciously stop doing. The only thing you need to do is become educated and really accept the emotions. And I'm going to go in the part 2 of this. If anyone's interested, I'm going to go deeper into the cure. But step 1 is to accept this. You might not be able to accept this overnight. Maybe you say, oh, well, maybe it has a little bit to do with the mind and mostly to do with the body, or 50-50 or whatever. But to the extent that you accept that it's in mind, if you can accept it's in 100% in the mind, then you will get 100% of a solution. Okay, so it's called TMS. You can look this up if you want. You can hit me up and I'll explain more about it. I've seen this with dozens and dozens and dozens of people, and I observe it in many, many more informally. But I've cured, wasn't me, obviously, but I've cured dozens of people from TMS. It can be an absolutely life debilitating thing. And this is a game changer because it really increases the quality of your life, especially as you age. Most old men are complaining about their back because they believe in that there's something structurally wrong with your back, but there is nothing structurally wrong with your back. Okay. Your back is absolutely bulletproof. And if you really understood the mechanics of the back and the physiology of the back, you'd know that there's nothing to break, there's nothing to tear, there's nothing to rip. If you ripped your back, your spinal column, you'd be in a wheelchair. And it takes tremendous force to really damage the back in that way. So it is kind of a fantasy pain, and it's kind of not. I mean, a lot of people have heard of phantom pain. So somebody who's, again, unfortunate person who had their hand blown off will feel pain in their fingers years after it's blown off. Why? Because it's in the nervous system. And we can go really, really deep into this. There's a lot I could speak about. It's a fascinating topic. But just because I want to wrap it up as a part one, just so I can get some people some relief from this back pain, hopefully even one person, it will be worth it. Just understand that back pain and other pains are generally, most of the time, probably you, right? Probably you is created by the mind, okay? And the solution is mental and not physical. So what do you do? Maybe you should consider not going to get injections and take painkillers and get constant massages and stuff like that to fix a broken body. There's nothing wrong with you. You also, by the way, don't need to fix your mind, okay? You just need to acknowledge, I'm generating rage, give yourself a pass, and the pain will go away. And when you see the pain, when you feel the pain, carry on, because there's nothing wrong with your body. Just carry on doing what you would do if there was no pain. And all it is basically an alarm signal, right? From your unconscious mind telling you, hey, you are generating a lot of rage. Maybe slow down and take a look, like be introspective and acknowledge this rage that you're creating, instead of just trucking on with gritted teeth and white knuckling your whole life. Maybe just take a little introspective look, which men seem to not really be able to do. And this is why I think back pain tends to affect men, although it does affect women too. So, yeah, I would just say acknowledge to yourself, in the words of the hippies, be kind to yourself. Love yourself if you can. You don't really have to do any of that. Just acknowledge that you're generating rage and the pain will slowly go away. But most people need a little bit more than just a 15-minute podcast to, permanently fix this. But you can start to get relief. If you can even just start to say, well, maybe at least it's partly in the mind, you can start to get some relief. Okay. I could say a lot more, but I don't know if I need to. So I'm going to wrap it up here, and I'm almost certainly going to do a part 2 of this. It's a fun subject for me. It's a fascinating subject for me. I can really geek out on it. It's one of the more mind-blowing, crazy things that I've learned in my health and fitness career and I've observed in people. It kind of piggybacks off the other episodes that I recently did of the power of the mind, the mental game. It piggybacks a little bit off that, because it just shows you how powerful the mind is. This is what we call a nocebo. It's the opposite of a placebo, meaning it's a painful creation of the mind. And it's for destructive purposes. But, the mind can be used, just like fire, it can be used to burn someone's house down, or it can be used to cook a lovely steak. So it could be a good thing or a bad thing, your mind. Don't let it use you for negative, negative things. I've run out of words. I should probably wrap this up now. Yeah. But yeah, we'll do a part 2 on this. Just be kind to yourself and we'll talk about it more. Let me know what you think. Maybe it's all bullshit. Maybe I'm talking out of my ass. If you think I'm talking out of my ass, you can comment, you can hit me up, you can do whatever you have to do. But I think I'm going to help a couple people. So see what happens. Much love, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.